And hi, I'm back. Sorry it's been a while. It's just been kind of half busy today or during the last days or so. And today I'm actually gonna try to do something new for once because I've been talking with some fans that go to my school, and they say that they want me to try something new. And then I decided to do on a universe and a site which I have been a personal fan of for a very long time. So let me introduce you to the SCP Wiki. So the SCP Wiki is, well, a website, you can go to it, which basically tells a story. To summarize the story, in the SCP universe, there are supernatural beings, or as they are called, anomalies. And these aren't what you would expect. They aren't demons, vampires. They're an infinite IKEA, a statue that can't move unless you look at it. Basically, stuff that doesn't really make sense to our perception of the world, or reality as they tend to call it. So there is this thing called the SCP Foundation. That they're a acronym actually. SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect, which is their sort of their mantra. Their mission is to secure, contain, and protect us from anomalous thing. Meaning, if an anomaly were to just appear in public, the Foundation will usually be there within like a minute or two. And you won't probably remember because they got this thing called amnestics, which is basically, I don't actually know what it is, but it's some sort of substance. Like, I don't know if it's drinkables, like drugs or something, but it's a something actually a sort of a material thing that they use to erase people's memories of an anomalous event. So if you have seen an anomaly, they'll usually give you amnestics to make you forget about it, because the Foundation works in secrecy, meaning you aren't supposed to know their existence. And for all of you who are like, wait, wouldn't they get in trouble with the law? Yeah, they're actually, according to the wiki, they are actually above international law. So they are allowed to basically do whatever they want because, in their, as they said, if they weren't around, humanity would be dead. We would have been destroyed thousands of years ago. And just to quickly explain that the SCP Foundation, the Foundation isn't the only organization dealing with anomalies. There is the GOC, which are a combination between the Illuminati, the Church of Satan, a lot of different groups and cults, and they tend to do stuff differently. While the SCP's the Foundation's mantra is usually to try to contain and study them, the GOC's operation and their how they tend to see it is kill it before it can cause more trouble. So they're usually all about destroying anomalies, which can be good in some cases because some anomalies can kill people, but some anomalies, especially a term which is called an anomalous human, aka a human who has supernatural abilities, they can be sort of in the gray area because most anomalous humans want to use their powers, but a small group of them only want to like live in peace, live a normal life. And if the GOC learns that they are anomalous, they'll barge in their door and kill them for no reason. Because so basically, the GOC is very much like you can understand their goals, but there is a gray area upon anomalies that don't they just want to live in peace. There is the Serpent Hand. There are three main: the Foundation, the GOC, and the Serpent's Hand. The Serpent's Hands are actually closer to what we would call the freedom fighters. They are fighting for the rights of the anomalous, meaning they are all about, oh, we want people to know about anomalies and their existence. And really, the Serpent's Hand of the three are probably the one that are least organized, because Serpent's Hand members, really, you only need to say you're a member to be an official member, which means that they aren't that structured, they aren't a hierarchy, and they don't do a lot of operations. The only really thing that makes them keeps them together is that they have access to something called the Wanderer's Library, which is basically a library which has every book that has ever been written, books that haven't been written, and books that will never be written, if you can comprehend that. So basically, every single book that has either been written, is going to be written, or will never be written is located in the library. So they kind of use it as a hangout spot, because technically the Wanderers Library is technically for everyone, meaning if you were to find what we call a cluster, which is how you enter the Wanderers Library, you need to, of course, well, you have to find one of these clusters and then just go walk through. You'll go get access to the Wanderers Library, and then you can get access to all the books there. There are a few rules, like you can't destroy books, or in general just be an asshole, because then you'll be turned into a part of the staff there. So yeah, you really don't want to be destroying or be a nuisance there, because in worst case scenario you'll end up as a staff and work there forever. So that's a little bit about how the universe works. There are supernatural beings, and the world is mostly about organizations trying to either weaponize, destroy, or contain anomalies. And now we're actually going to go back to and explain a few notable members of the Foundation. The number one, and probably the one you'll probably meet the most, is a man going under the name Dr. Bright. Just a general explaining how he is. He is basically a chaotic dumbass that does anything he wants. Because spoilers, actually, this is a little bit spoiling, but he's technically immortal, so he can do whatever he wants. Now you're probably asking, how the hell did he end up immortal? Well, to do that, we have to first explain who Dr. Bright is. Or Dr. Jack Bright, which is his actual name, Jack, is the son of O5-2. And a quick summary, the O5 Council are the ones who are running the entire Foundation. There are 13 members, and his father was actually O5-12, Adam Bright. He is actually, as far as I know, the only O5 member that has actually stepped down from the position, because usually O5, that position is meant for life, meaning if you have it until you die, then you're gonna get replaced. But Jack was actually, I think, one of 5 children born to Adam Bright and his wife, with him having a brother named TJ Bright, who was actually born anomalous, with the anomalous ability to take away any disease from a person. The downside is that he gets the illness himself, meaning if he were to say heal your broken arm, he'll get a broken arm instead. Sadly, one of his youngest sister was sadly died in childbirth, but they were able to get her back. The only problem was that kind of made her an SCP, so the Foundation swooped in, contained her and TJ. So yeah, basically, the Bright family is kind of pretty messy actually. Currently, I think one member is a part of the Serpent's Hand, one is an agent for the SCP Foundation, meaning he works out in the fields. TJ is currently has the mental capacity of a 3-year-old, because Jack didn't really want, because they use him as basically as a medicine, and he didn't really want his little brother to really know what is happening. So he's currently in the mindset of a 3-year-old, and his sister is, I think, like 2 meters tall, because she's growing as hell, even though she's like basically has the mental capacity of a toddler. She is like 2 meters tall. I think even they said something about they having to make like a metallic heart or a mechanical one, because she is growing so fast that her body can't physically follow her. Sorry, I just thought I heard something. So yeah, that's a bit about who Dr. Bright is as a beforehand. So he was in charge of an amulet. I think its name is SCP-953. Can't really remember that number, but basically they found it in a crazy cultist's house with him dead, of course, because this universe tends to be pretty dark. So yeah, while he was carrying it, SCP-176, also nicknamed Abel, went on a rampage, which yeah, he does from time to time. Like, I think they said like once between like 3 to 3 years or something, he'll go on a rampage. You can't technically kill him. The only problem is that he then just regrows. So yeah, he can't really be killed. Yeah, he can be killed. Problem is he's coming back sooner or later. So yeah, while all that was happening, Bright was killed by Abel. And after some D class, which are basically guinea pigs, they are being thrown at every anomaly, which is why one of Dr. Bright's most famous quote is, "If we don't know, throw D class at it until we learn." So yeah, basically, and it picked up the amulet, and then randomly just started to talk like Dr. Bright, just basic. So basically, what happened was that the cultist was trying to make himself immortal. The only problem is for you to. So basically, Dr. Bright is stuck in the amulet, and anyone who touches it he basically possesses their body for that minimum time. So Dr. Bright was actually able to basically activate it the correct way, because the correct way is to activate it is to get killed by someone else. And the cultist sadly was killed himself, meaning he wasn't killed by anyone, therefore he didn't activate the amulet correctly. So, and to make things even, because you're probably thinking, wait, why can't I just destroy the amulet? Yeah, beforehand it was also indestructible. So Dr. Bright is an immortal madman, because there is on the subreddit something called 50 things Dr. Bright isn't allowed to do. So yeah, he's got a pretty good list of stuff he ain't allowed to do. And the reason why he's still around is because he is an extremely good researcher, because I think he's like over 100 years old, meaning he knows a lot more than most people learn in their entire lifetime, because, well, he's immortal, so he can't exactly die. The second one, and my personal favorite, just because how interesting he is Dr. Clef. And Dr. Clef is, well, it's pretty hard actually to describe him, because for some reason you can't photograph his face. If you try, a random animal head will appear. But I think they mentioned somewhere that he is said to have 3 eyes, all different colors, 1 blue, 1 green, and 1 yellow, and a Cheshire Cat grin always on, and a fedora hat. So yeah, he is considered pretty slimy, like he is violent as hell. He is, but the reason why they keep him around is because actually, like Bright, Clef is actually an anomaly. Because originally it was thought that he was what is called in the SCP universe a reality bender, aka someone who can bend the fabric of reality to their whim. But it was later discovered that he was actually a reality anchor, which basically means that he is immune to reality benders and their effects, which explains a lot, because before he joined the Foundation, he was actually a member of the GOC and has written a book of how to kill reality benders, which makes a lot of sense when you think about it, because if you were immune to reality bending effects and were trained by the GOC originally, whose mantra is to kill every anomaly, you would probably be the most qualified to kill a reality bender, because you know how they work, you got the mentality, and they can't affect you. So yeah, that's a little bit about him. He is currently the head of the Department of Training. So he's the one who's training all the agents and units, which, if you know about how they tend to act and how effective they are, you can thank Dr. Clef for that. Also, one thing which always makes me laugh is actually that he's got a kid. Yeah, her name is SCP-166, and actually I can go both versions because she is actually, or was, one of the most controversial SCPs. So I'm probably not gonna make this kid friendly because her original ability wasn't really that kid friendly. So the idea is that if a man were to see a picture of her, they would instantly want to have sex with her. And of course, she usually didn't want this. Luckily, in 70% of cases, the effect will disappear as when they're out of her range. But in the other 30%, they become obsessed. So yeah, it isn't, you can understand why it was a little bit controversial, which is why it's now redone. So her abilities are more that she can basically make anything that is advanced, like a mobile phone, return to its original state. And now she's got ant horns. So her story is that back in the day, Dr. Clef met a nature goddess, and they had sex, and she was made. So she is technically the daughter of a reality anchor and a goddess. But due to what is called the Cornwall incident, her mom was killed by her father, but he was able to take her to a convent in Ireland, where she lived from up till, I think it was her 16th birthday, before the Foundation realized she existed and sent her to, well, one of their many thousands of sites. So that's a little bit of a quick explanation about this. I'll probably do a video on one SCP to explain it a lot more further. So thanks for watching.